Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Quirk, and this is my case study, my third case study. So, the client that I will be presenting on today is a 4-year-old male with autism spectrum disorder. He was diagnosed in 2019 and then came to work with us in 2021. He currently lives at home with his mom and dad, and he is an only sibling. He receives daycare-based services only. So we go down into a specific room and and we conduct like some DTT programming, some net programming, things like that. And then we'll also go upstairs into his classroom and work on some social skills and different things like that with other peers. And the interfering behavior that we're really focusing on is whenever there is an SD placed or a demand or anything like that, we've noticed a high level of throwing items and eloping. So those behaviors are kind of the ones that we're really focusing on currently. So the intervention that we're working on is a functional communication training so that he can eventually man for breaks. That is our overall goal. So eventually we want our client to be able to man for a break or man for these aversive activities to stop. So we started using a functional communication training board and some concept books. So the picture down here, the one where it says like, I don't want to, it's too hard, no thank you. That is one of the boards that we are using. And just took a screenshot from one of his OneDrive. And then also this is like a page of a concept book that we do. So basically what we do with these concept books is to start. So as I have here, our first step would be an echoic step. And so we'd like read the book and we'd say, stop. And the client should echo stop before we turn to the next page. And there's a couple other ones. There's like stop, no, thank you, I don't want to, kind of things like that. And that's the same thing with with the FCT board. So we hold up an icon to start. The tech would say, I don't want to. And then the client would echo her and say, I don't want to. And then the tech would match it to the board. So just kind of like basic early steps. Sort of before we get into the intervention though, I kind of wanted to discuss the stimulus class. And so as I previously mentioned, we're teaching the client how to request for activities to stop. This should hopefully replace throwing behavior, the eloping, kind of those challenging behaviors that we've noticed that come along whenever there is a demand placed. And this board has been chosen because they each have a common effect on behavior. So they will stop those aversive activities. So my main goal truly is to work on autonomy with our clients. And so I want them to have that choice. I want them to have that option to stop if they don't want to. So if we ask them, hey, do you want to come to the table? No, thank you. I don't want to. Okay, that's fine. You don't have to throw things. You don't have to elope from me. However, if a demand is placed, like come to the table, and it's something that the client really just can't get out of, like we need to do this, they can ask for a minute or a break or no thank you, and then eventually hopefully we'll teach like accepting no as a next step. And so as previously stated, the stimulus class, it's a common effect on behavior. Each of these icons will get the client to stop, be able to request to stop aversive activities. So coming back to the intervention, this is sort of the teaching procedure that we have in place. So we already mastered out the echoic step. So as I previously mentioned, the tech holds up the icon and says the name. The client will repeat the name. So let's say it's stop. Tech will say stop. The client will repeat stop. This is just a good teaching step to kind of get the, to get the client to understand what each icon says, sort of how it should be, and kind of, it's like that nice teaching exposure step. And then the next step that we're currently on is tacting. So tech holds up the icon, the client independently says the name. So let's say tech holds up the stop icon. Client would say stop, and tech says, you're right, that is stop. The tech will not give that icon to the client. They will, however, match it to the board and say, look it, that is stop. Good job, you knew it. Same thing with I don't know, all these other steps. So just really getting, I think this tacting step is a nice next step into like the manding. And then obviously the final step would be manding. So manding to request for stop, contrive it at the table, and then eventually move on to in a natural setting, things like that. One sort of a like a dry stimulus relation that we noticed. So it's been pretty cool actually. This client saw a stop sign. Um, he pointed to the stop sign in like a book and he said, "Stop." The text said, "You're right, that is the stop sign. Good job." It's attacked because A, the client didn't follow the man, he didn't stop what he was doing. Um, the client, he wasn't asking like the tech to stop, things like that. The client was labeling stop from the picture and he wasn't able to like receive um a stop sign or receive something in return. There was no like motivating operation behind him stating this, which is important in a demand or a request. And then he was labeling stuff from the picture that we taught him through FCT. So that's just pretty cool to see like how that progression can occur. And hopefully we'll eventually get to that point where he can demand for things to stop and things like that. And that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening.